y'all back with another paid review, and this time we are reviewing a South African webtoon. Right off the bat, man, congratulations, bro. Congratulations. I want to play the South African Vuvuzela for you here right now because this was the best South African story I've ever read in my life. Here you go. Ayoba, bro. Ayoba, Exe. Guys, I was greatly surprised at how amazing this thing is. It's so good. I truly feel sorry for you, bro. Exe and Dota, I feel sorry for you, bro. Somebody of your skill in writing, rotting away here, like the rest of us. Welcome to our reality, our shared reality. But you already knew that. I just really feel sorry for you because, guys, although when I first looked at this thing and I read the synopsis here, I was like, oh, hell no. Did this nigga give me some Pan-African trash? Because you should know that I'm against all of that, right? But actually, no. It's not Pan-Africanism at all. This is such a well-constructed story that is somewhat like a parody, satire, honestly, on the stereotypes and actual bad habits of South African people. This is legit a superpowered version of the Boondocks. Not reflecting the behavior of niggas as a whole, but instead reflecting the behavior of South African niggas as a whole. It is so accurate, right? This review is for chapter 1 to 3, and we're gonna go through it. But I could tell that, yeah, this guy is extrapolating from reality. Like everything you're about to see in these few chapters is everything that I went through on the ground, on campus. The guy is a graduate himself, so I'm sure you went through it too. He's extrapolating from reality, bro, 100%. If you want to understand a bit of South African politics, right? Maybe South African jargon, read this thing. Read this thing, right? But I feel very sad for him because it's like, bro, although you captured so well the niggery of South Africans, I'm sure you know that you ought not to be, confused or sedated by the praise you're getting from South African dudes in the comments over here. Dudes saying, oh, I feel so represented, Ayoba, Ziawa, hey, this is the best, yada, yada, yada. You know them niggas ain't gonna buy your ish, bro. Niggas as a whole ain't buying nothing. You know that if you keep, in fact, I don't know if you know, but if you keep catering to them, you're not gonna get anything out of this. You know that Gayton McKenzie, the Minister of the Department of Arts and Culture, is a criminal that gonna look at this and be like, I don't know what this is, and I don't care. So wait a minute, Gayton. This is a satire, very well written. It is Boondocks level quality, and I think this can be, funded, and it can air on national TV. How about that? Let's organize a South African animation team and so on. I don't know what that is. Me, I want mine. That's what Gayton's going to tell you. That's what Julius Malema is going to tell. Bruh, every so-called insane criminal political freak of nature in South Africa is in this thing. It's brilliant. Right now, bro, you get a 10 out of 10 right now. But I just need you not to have false hope that these niggas will give you what you deserve. This is so sad, bro, because it's like, yo, man, I've been, in the gutter trying to uplift the nigga. right? All these years. And I finally washed my goddamn hands after COVID. And in your case, the way you're trying to uplift is to make the nigga's mind engaged, to evolve. And that's the thing. This story, this comic, number one, I honestly believe if it was presented as a manga than a webtoon, like the manga format instead of a webtoon format, it probably would do better. Honestly, it probably would do better, bro. So I think you messed up with the webtoon format. But secondly, this might have a DEI presentation, but it's not DEI coded. So if you were to go to George Soros or try to get international funding, they won't be looking at this like, oh, great, this looks like Pan-Africanism. Then they start reading it like, wait a minute, there's no propaganda in here. What's going on? Wait, what? This nigga trying to make people evolve. He's trying to make them think outside the box. He's holding up the bad habits of the nigga in their face. No, hell no. We're going to make sure this guy gets buried. That's the sad reality. This is why I've said that if you're black, never, ever, 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 ever try to just panda to them niggas. Never try to give them pop and place, bro. Never play vuvuzela at the wedding, bro. Never do the break dance at the chisanyama, bro. At the barbecue, for those who don't know what the chisanyama is. Right? Never. You should go your own way. So this story is rather long, right? Already 23 episodes, 23 chapters. This is great. But it's like, damn, bro. Like, people think I'm a hater. I want dudes to win, especially talented people. People who are gifted. It's like, listen, if I'm going to correct you, I'm not trying to sabotage you. I'm not trying to say I'm better than you. Well, I have experience in comparison to you, I guess. That's why I'm saying, look, man, you're going to end up in a hole over here. Let's go a different direction, all right? I'm not saying abandon this story, but all I'm saying is just don't get lost in the Vaseline being rubbed on your chest or the Vicks being rubbed on your chest by these niggas over here, bro. They ain't even gonna send you a pizza box from Debonairs, bro. They ain't gonna send no Carter, no Bunny Chow, nothing. So anyway, let's get into it. Here's the synopsis. In a divided Africa plagued by inequality, immediately when I started reading this, I'm like, oh, hell no. But continuing, one man dares to disrupt the system. He dreams of a continent where background, race, or age no longer defines success. Only mindset does. His dream turns Africa into a battlefield of mindsets. In such a world, will the silent youth, the so-called leaders of tomorrow, stop waiting and lead now? Will the mind of the lower class outlive the poverty of their pockets? Will the upper class still script the fate of others with ink only they can afford? This is very well written, bro. And I'll also say this. You see, oligarchs and rich people, they're actually no different to very poor people. And what I mean by that is both are childish, right? A super rich person, or rich person in general, is a spoiled brat. And we all know spoiled brats want things a particular way, and they won't compromise. They won't hear a different perspective. A impoverished person is entitled. They are also childish, but entitled. In other words, they want you to keep going. Give me, give it for free. Give me reparations. Fees must fall. Education must be free, type thing. Free sandwiches, free KFC chicken and watermelon and ANC t-shirts for every granny on the bus who's gonna vote for the ANC type thing. So the thing is, if you're gonna try to sell to rich people are DEI adjacent because they have an agenda. If you're gonna try to sell to poor people are comfortable being poor. And they want to feel represented and seen that they are poor so they can stay poor. You're trying to show them that, listen, you can move up with your mindset if you change your mindset. These niggas don't want to change their mindset. Because if you read the comments, which we will here, this is not about the mindset. This is not about the message. And that's the problem with the nigga. The nigga don't care about your message, bro. The nigga cares what you gonna give him for listening to you spew your message. That's the problem. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's go to chapter 1, and it is the vision. So, here we are. It starts, I've witnessed countless dreams fade away due to a lack of support, the pressure to conform, and the weight of low self-esteem. This hit hard, bro. This is a guy who was an outcast amongst the group, right? They looked at you and they probably called you a cheese boy, bro. I saw your pics on Instagram, bro. They called you a cheese boy, bro. I know they did. I know they said you ate cornflakes for breakfast with yogurt. I know they said you had Swiss cheese for lunch. You were not eating maguinas and pop and salt all day. I know, bro. I know. The pressure to conform and the weight of low self-esteem. Dream lost. Responsibilities won. Bruh, you know how powerful this imagery is? Yo, bruh. Guys, this is pure South African extrapolation. I don't know how many niggas even had dreams, to be honest, right? In this place. Right? Even I didn't have a dream for a long time until, of course, I saw anime. But this over here where the guy wanted to play soccer but instead ended up a gardener, yo, bro, this hits hard. I have taken it upon myself to eradicate these barriers. We see most likely Sandton City versus Alexandra in Gauteng. I will build a world where your success isn't dictated by your background, race, privilege, or age. Ooh la la. Look at these graduates, bro. Just like me. Graduated, and I'm out here, might as well be selling onions also, bro. The hussy who graduated, she gotta sell booty. The nigga who graduated, who gotta dig holes. See, the whole world is Africa now. I've been saying that. Don't matter if you got your PhD, bro. You're going to KFC like the rest of us. You're gonna work there. It all comes down to your mindset. Wits University, aka Wits University. Worst university ever, if you ask me. I almost attended there and I was like, nah, this place is too big and it's got too many weird people. But anyway, where brilliant minds are forged, surviving here takes unwavering dedication and hard work. Yet despite conquering the Wits edge, graduates still face the harsh reality. Now, the way this starts, it's almost like, is this the main character? Technically, to be honest, I still don't really know who the main character is. But the story is captivating enough regardless of not yet figuring out who exactly is. To me, this looks like the villain, but in a way, he's not, in his mind, he's not being a villain. And I don't think he's being a villain. He is actually forcing mental evolution amongst these niggas. And it just had to be a white man forcing mental evolution, because none of our politicians are going to do that. Our politicians want you to fall under matter over mind, not matter over mind, right? So the white man over here is about to give them superpowers that's going to force them to think. Somebody gonna say, this is racist. Well, a nigga made this. Is he racist? That's what I thought. The harsh reality of 74% youth unemployment rate in this country, it's actually 86%, bro. 86%. Yeah. We see the white man getting out on the bus and he's saying to himself, but worry not, children. After this, you will not have to beg to be recognized. Aren't so many people begging, especially online, to be recognized? Look at me, look at me. And then they have to perform. They gotta wiggle their butts and make up fake stories about somebody else. That's right. So the guy has a bag and decides to just leave it there. He walks out, and then we have whom I thought would be our main character, Takalani over here, third year um, science student. We'll call him TK, and he notices that there's a bag that's been left here. Why did he leave it behind? He noticed the white man outside, sees him holding a button, and he catches on real quick that it's a bomb, and he's about to throw it outside. But interestingly enough, the guy has a conscience, right? Most niggas would have thrown it outside already or ran out the bus. But he's like, oh man, I care. There are a lot of students outside, so I guess we're all gonna die. Hey, you, sit down, says a version of young Julius Malema, the biggest, no good, lying, scheming, dictating Pan-Africanist sack of trash who's ever lived in this country, right? I hate Julius Malema. And he's commanding him to sit down, and then the white man presses the button, and the bomb goes off, but it looks like it was just sleeping gas. May the superior mind rule, he says. A day later, they're at the hospital, and they all wake up, and the nurse says, everything looks fine. Y'all were just gassed with sleeping gas. And everybody managed to go home, right? And we finally engage with young Julius Malema. Here he's called Juju, right? When one of us suffers, we all feel it. Here comes the language of we in this together type thing, right? Oh, boy. I'm off. I'm one of the speakers. I can't afford to be late, so he has a rally to attend to, a protest, and so on. And they just seeing how dedicated he is because he hasn't even taken a shower yet. And here he is. The power fist, the communist fist. Oh yes, Amandla, my goodness. I hate communism. Anyway, and now it is time for the leader of the African Freedom Fighters, Student Command Juju. See, African Freedom Fighters, he replaced the Economic Freedom Fighters with African. Because the EFF, Economic Freedom Fighters, is led by the criminal Julius Malema, who's a supreme racist, by the way. And so here he is. Juju's about to speak. Fourth year political science student. Comrades, I'm going to read this like I'm Julius Malema, right? Comrades, today we are gathered here to address a crisis that strikes at the very core of our struggle for access to education. How can you, as an institution of higher learning, expect to start lessons when thousands of students have not registered, when they do not even have a place to sleep? This is an act of violence against the dreams of an African child. It is an insult to the sacrifices of those who fought for this country. Solomon Mahlangu said, my blood will nourish the tree that will bear the fruits of freedom. And his power awakens because that gas is what, unlocked their powers or gave them powers. And his power is that of mass hypnosis, putting people under a communist genjutsu, right? Free education, no! They all scream. If we don't get it, we shut it down. And he feeling himself right here. This is so accurate, bro. This is just nigga insanity. Always asking for free stuff. I had a podcast with Black Swan and Pierce, and I was saying niggas want free things. Well, everybody wants free things, not as much as niggas. And these are supposed to be educated people who manage to get good enough grades to go to a university, but the mechanics of reality as to listen, somebody's paying for that free access. It's just being paid in some other way. This is demolition, right? This is orchestrated demolition. But we know how it is. I just gotta put it out there for those who don't know. For those who still advocating for free stuff, nigga, you crazy. Ain't nothing free in this world. right? And so the other two who were exposed to the gas, TK and this other girl, Amu, let's call her Amu, they just talking and heading back to their rooms. And then TK is having some thoughts about the goal of that white man's explosion. And suddenly he is awakening his powers a little bit. Looks like he can, he has a power of deduction, like supreme level, and looks like he can make chess pieces come alive because he is such an intellectual. And I think this is a cool power, honestly. This is actually a cool power. So that's really cool, man, making the bishop and the knight come alive and so on. And one of his friends, Mike over here, comes back to see TK summoning some crazy, beings. And then we jump to Amu over here. She's feeling a bit hazy. So to, make herself feel better, she wants to wear the Ribelani, which is a traditional, dance attire thing. And she starts to shake them hips, and she legit blows up the whole room because the walls couldn't handle them curves, bro. But hey, that's a superpower. And they notice each other like, wait, what? So here we are to the first comments. And this was last year. This series was released last year. So the top comment here says, I'm zonga, a shangan, nigga. Shangan, And the Kribelani scene makes me feel so seen. OMG. Now this is appalling, bro. This is appalling. This is why I don't cater to black people. I cater to people who already are resting happily in the realm of ideas, right? I don't cater to people who only want to live in the matter, in the physical, whose entire reality is nothing but their skin color and a damn dance attire. Because this is all it takes to please niggas. This is all it takes, bro. The nigga can stay poor. He can stay in a hut. But let you walk barefoot at the mall as well and wear a Kribelani. Nigga will be like, oh yes, yes. They cannot be an ascension. They cannot be an ascension, bro. They cannot be a pursuit of transcendence. What need would there be if somebody's going to feel so alive and so appreciated and so loved that somebody drew them holding a spear? Because they hold a spear when they're in the mountains. Ah, dog. Yeah. Nah, bro. That woman, Tyler, the singer, guys, the singer. Let's quickly go to Tyler, shall we, right? This is going to be a long review because we're touching base on home ground. Y'all know Tyler. This hussy over here. She fine, ain't she? Yeah. She real fine. What she doing? Yeah. All right. The audio. Oh, good. Anyway, Tyler does not represent a single South African woman at all. She was born here. She is, I think her mom's Indian and her father is a Cape Galid. Regardless, she is a Cape Galid, bro. Right? She's a Cape Galid. In order for her to appeal to South Africans on an interview, she decided to bring a packet of mealie meal, of pap, bro. So let me quickly show you. Tyler pap. Look at this insanity, bro. This was on Vogue magazine. She got the chakalaka as well. Because it seemed like she was forgetting where she was coming from. And Cape Galids, I don't know if they eat pap like that. I know they eat a lot of fish. Well, that's what I heard. But In order to appeal to most South Africans, because a lot of us were eating that chakalaka and pop, well, Vogue said, listen, we still got to represent where you come from. So let's go to the kitchen and see what you can do. And here she is cooking pop and chakalaka, bro. Like, this is just crazy. Where is the damn pop? Woman, where is the pop? I think it's over here. She can't cook for nothing. She didn't cook that pop. She didn't make that chakalaka. That chakalaka came out of a can. She didn't make that boerewors, bro. Woman, that's not even how you cut the Vos, bro. This is how you know she LARPing. But anyway, this is the problem. Is that if you're going to try to represent people on the ground, this is all you have to do. But what you are actually trying to do is make these people think outside the box, to go beyond. They don't have to go beyond. They don't have to be in shape like Tyler. They don't have to try and do their hair like Tyler, or learn to dance or learn to speak properly and so on. She can't even cook. She can't even cut that damn pepper right, or that chili. She can't even cut it. Anyway, all you have to do is just present yourself LARP basically in front of these people, and they will give you support in mouth alone. I don't know how many South Africans bought her albums. I don't even know if she's gone on tour in South Africa. I don't think so. She probably has gone on one tour. But honestly, Tyler's biggest consumers are not South Africans. They're not. If you're going to cater to South Africans, regardless of how great your music or how great your story is, bro, you're not gonna get that support really, unless you go the extra mile and you do some. Let's use this woman as an example, right? Unless you go to this degree, right, and become like this woman who is very much so catering to bottom niggas 1,000,000%. Bottom niggas 1,000,000%, bro. This is for Shebeen dwellers, right? If you can cater 1,000,000,000% to Shebeen dwellers, I guess you can get real support when you go to a concert. But since we're in the context of creating stories here, if you book yourself to go on tour, book signing and whatnot, you're not gonna get very far. And this type of story, even if you were to try to go to private schools are the most DEI propaganda filled institutions there are. So they'll be like, well, I think this story is a bit too much for the kids and whatnot. This is the sad reality. This is why I'm against empowering niggas. Because you cannot. They don't want to be empowered. They just want you to take their impoverished costume or their poverty and wear it as a costume. And then they're gonna feel better. They're not gonna try to fix anything. So nah, y'all, nah. Look at this. So that was the top comment. The other one says, talking about real life. We experienced here in SA. This is fire. It got me hooked, wanting more. So far, nothing about the message. Okay, this is fire. Representation matters. This is a brainwash, nigga. What happened at the end? Did they get superpowers, nigga? What do you think, bruh? No one. Where's the story, bro? I mean, where's the message? Anyone commenting on the message? Look at this. It's so cool, amazing, wow, wonderful, representation, fire, good stuff, more, loving it. Yo, dude. And now niggas are breaking the wall outside. Oh, well, this is reality. This is amazing. First time seeing a background character. Okay, someone commented on the personality at least. Really digging the references. We might feel uncomfortable to see certain characters, but at the end of the day, this is what mirrors the situation we have. Okay, nothing about really the the message thus far. This guy came close to it, that this is a mirror of our reality. That's as close as we get. That's as close as we get. But the top comment is some monkey shit, bro. So, yeah, that's very unfortunate. Let us then go to the second chapter. And here we finally about to have the protests go in full motion. So we have somebody who works on the campus saying, Vice Chancellor, a group of students have gathered to demand fees must fall. This was a real thing, y'all. I was there. I was there when it was happening. It was crazy times. Deploy all security units immediately and notify the Minister of Police to dispatch a police squad. Instruct them to use force to disperse the students, says the Chancellor. These kids are annoying, so entitled to free things. See? Now, they'll be like, well, you said that because you and Uncle Tom and you have the brain of a white man, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, bro. This is an institution of learning, not a political arena. And to me, it's like running a business. Then we have the guy saying, y'all better get the heck up and out of here. We're going to call the law enforcers. And Malema is like, maybe we should stand down. But he realizes that, you know what? No, the students are not standing down, saying it seems like the students do not want to leave. And then this guy says, Baba, do you not think if you had a child here, you would be able to afford these fees? This is how they try to reason with you, right? Baba means, masculine elder, if I gotta use the denotation. Do you not think your child would suffer too with fees like this? Like, nigga, what you think this is, bruh? This is such low grade reasoning, but it's legit reasoning that they use all the time. Then the guy says, that's not relevant, this is my job. And then the white guy says, then we are also just doing our job to ensure no student is left behind. Yeah. You see that whole thing about not making sure nobody gets left behind? Bruh, that is legit against nature itself. So, no, the writer man is a genius, bro. Like, I classify you as a genius, bro. I do. I could be wrong. You could, try to assassinate me because I said too much or something. But thus far, I'll classify you as a genius. And again, I say this in all honesty. This is the best South African story I've ever read. In the context of it extrapolating from South African events, this is the best. This is the best, right? I've never seen anything like it. But once again, you see what the people are saying in the comments anyway. So the head of security says, all right, we tried reasoning. We're going to have to use violence. And one of the students says, violence brought freedom to this country and it shall bring free education. At the end of the day, all types of violence is what you need to actually make a real difference. But in today's society, well, apparently marching down the street will make a difference, right? No, it won't. So Malema over there is gleeful, and everybody starts attacking. Oh, and they throw the tear gas. Hey man, South Africans and tear gas, we go way long back, bro. Way long back. So the people are in total zombie mode, and they are attacking the heck out of the security over here. And all hell's breaking loose. And yeah, he thought they would actually scatter because they're now firing rubber bullets and it's not working. People have died in these protests, by the way, guys. People have died. Police have legit shot and killed people for real. So yeah, it was real. It was hardcore. So they managed to beat up all the security, and Malema is so happy over there, and they closing in. Then the police actually show up, and they firing them rubber bullets, but nothing is happening. Finally, we go back to TK, who's realizing, hell is breaking loose outside, and he's gonna go try and stop the commotion. And we have an officer saying these kids are like monsters, rubber bullets is not working, and TK realizes that it's Malema who's controlling them with his new superpowers. And yeah, he's gonna try to actually reason with him, even though his super intelligence is telling him, hey, it's not gonna work, right? It's not gonna work. So he says, yo, man, you need to stop this. We need solutions, not chaos. We can request a meeting with the vice chancellor. I'm sure we can find common grounds and fight with strategy, not destruction. Then Malema says, you don't get it because you've already secured a place to stay. Your fees are covered and you get a comfortable allowance every month. Do you know the pain of sleeping at the library every day and also studying while on an empty stomach? Okay, well, yeah, I know the pain of studying while empty, but see, although these might be valid, this goes back to that one question somebody asked, many people have asked. If Thanos was so worried about the population being so much more than the resources, why did he not double the resources? This is what happens when you double the resources. No matter what you say, no matter what you people say, Africa was completely jacked before colonization, right? No system has ever been perfect. No time in history has ever been perfect, right? But the African population was less than 500 million as a whole 100 years ago. And now, because of resources, thanks to foreign aid, resources doubled. And when resources doubled, so does the population. When Mandela was set loose, right, resources doubled. And then the population of the nigger also increased. But guess what? I'll use the same, just a basic example of our electrical grid. Instead of new electrical stations being built, there's still just one that then got butchered because more and more people were being born and, things being set up and putting more strain on the electrical grid. And of course, niggas jumping the border and coming in up in here and whatnot. This is what happens when you double the resources, right? There are just new problems. In other words, you can never get rid of problems. You can only get new problems, bro. So I think that's pretty obvious, but people like Malema, yeah, they don't want to hear that. Exactly. We can afford to wait for polite meetings and empty promises. If the price for free education is my death, I am willing to pay it. My blood will nourish the tree that will bear the fruits of freedom. I know for a fact that Solomon Mathang never wrote that himself. No way that nigga thought of that poetry himself, that idealism. I don't know any South African proverb that's idealistic, right? Because that type of idealism, nah, man, it really sounds like some Western influenced idealism. Niggas don't have idealism. No, we don't, bro. No, we don't. At least here, no, we don't. And any other nigga that ever did anyway, where did that get you anyway, bro? So please, just stop. All them niggas who are pro nigga, I'm against you, all right? Call me Uncle Tom or whatever, I'm against you. Whatever. Back to reality. So, TK realizes talking ain't gonna help. He realizes he's got three options. Either the police kills everybody, or they just kill Malema, or he kills Malema himself, where there's only one casualty. But then there's a fourth option that he can't actually see. So he's about to make the shot with his chess bishop, but then some fine hussy comes along with the purple dress and immediately immobilizes all the dudes, right? And she walks up to Malema and gives him a little kiss, and the dude falls over just like that. Oh, damn. We all know them university hussies, bro. They didn't play no games in the old days, but now yeah, now they play all kinds of games, and by that I mean they lame, bro. They ain't got what they used to have. And so let's see the comments of chapter two. As a South African, I'm proud to be reading this. As I am a South African, I am happy that there's somebody who did create something like this, but I am saddened that it cannot be appreciated quite as well as I appreciate it. To see the artistry behind it, the intellectual magnitude of this writer, I am so sorry, bro, that these niggas just don't see what I see, man. Right? To the story is fire. No need to apologize. The script is amazing too. It will go on to touch the hearts of many South Africans. What does that even mean, bruh? What does that even mean? Right? This is not really about touching your people's hearts, dude. Are you getting the message that this is all about changing mindsets? Hmm? Nah, man. Nah, it's really tiring, bro. But anyway, we're now getting to the final chapter, and I wonder what this white man's name is. He got green eyes, so his name is probably Piet van der Merwe. Yeah. So anyway, he says, in the jungle, strength determines survival. The strong prey on the weak. In Africa, wealth dictates power. The rich prey on the poor. I know my experiment may have unleashed chaos, but I am reshaping the food chain. I am making the mind the apex predator. Good stuff. So we see the news over here, the aftermath of the protests and so on, and how Malema got arrested and got put in jail. And now Sand City Prison. I used to live in Sun City Prison. So these are all real places. You know how the Japanese, if they creating their mangas in modern day, they have real locations. This is actually a real location. I lived in the the sunny side prison. There were housings within the prison complex, and you know, every other week the siren would go off that a nigga escaped, and I always felt like I was gonna get killed because I couldn't lock the garage door, and there were giant rats that I had to fight. They would play dead and so on. So man, it was crazy, bro. There were like giant mongoose in the garden, dogs chasing me at night. Good times. So this is a real place, and here we're going to see Malema talking to his mother, right? And his mother says, why did you have to do this? You were on your final year. Do you know how much you sacrificed for you to get here? And Malema says, I couldn't just sit back and do nothing. Students are suffering and they need someone to speak up for them. So you sacrificed the only hope for this family. The university has suspended me because of your actions. Working as a university cleaner was the only job I could get in this economy. Now there's no source of income in our home. Your siblings might have to stop going to school and look for a job. Is this what you wanted? And ouch. See, yeah, this is quite the reality of most black people, I suppose. But it also does go to show that at the end of the day, nigga, you made the choice to be a superhero. You tried to save niggas, all the niggas except the niggas in your household. That is the weirdest thing about black people, bro. It's like those fathers who are going to buy candy and chicken for everybody outside the family house. When you ask your dad, hey, can I have $1? Nigga will be like, I don't have it. But he just spent like 200 buying random niggas liquor or chicken licking, bro. It's so weird. It's so weird, bro. I don't understand. I don't get it. Maybe I should do some psychoanalyzing on it some more, but I don't care. Nigga's a nigga. So this nigga, he sacrificed your family, bro, to save a bunch of niggas you don't know. And so, yeah, visiting hours are done. And mama says, I still love you anyway, my son. And that's the problem, man. These mamas are going to keep loving the toxic boy regardless of what he does. Then at least he's somewhat thinking to himself here, did I take it too far? Was I supposed to keep quiet while students suffer? Nigga, you ain't their father. right? You ain't the father. This is what happens when you try to save a nigga. You end up in jail. You gonna end up in jail, bro. Leave these niggas, man. Oh my goodness. Whew. Yeah. Yeah. Mandela gave us freedom, but freedom isn't equality. History will remember me as the one who finished what he started. Once again, see, that convenient history, I'm not blaming the writer for this. It's just, this is the narrative of the freedom fighter, right? He has a convenient history, half history, you know, African idealism, and it just doesn't work in reality. This is what happens when you try to take it too far, right? And 9 out of 10, who's going to lock you up or stab you in the neck is going to be another nigga. So, yeah, man. So we're back at Wits University sports ground, and the team is now talking to Mbali. Mbali is, I've never met Mbali from my personal life experience. I've never met Mbali who was not a hoe. I don't know what it is, man, but all Mbalis be hoeing, except I don't know. I don't know what it is, right? So Mbali out here getting her powers too, and she explains that if someone finds me attractive, they freeze. If I kiss them and tell them something, they just listen and do as I say. And she says she discovered her powers when she went on a date because she didn't want to eat noodles. So she, in other words, she had a blesser. And a blesser is a sugar daddy. Hey man, at campus life, bro, 5 o'clock, all them chicks you found attractive in the classroom would be lining up outside the campus gate, and dudes with Mercedes and BMWs would be picking them up. And I remember a girl that looks like Bali actually. She just got dropped off by a blesser in a Mercedes as I was buying some chicken. And she had all kinds of bags, you know, from fancy fashion wear and so on. But anyway, yeah, real extrapolation from reality. And so they say now Juju Malema has escaped prison. And now there was an explosion at the taxi rank, right? Hoo-hoo. This taxi rank looks like, is it, what is this, bro? This, oh, it's Alex. Kind of looks like Hillbrow. Niggas came after me in Hillbrow. But anyway, so now we have a homeless dude who got gassed, and you are about to see his powers, right? He's like, what happened to me? I remember I was begging at the taxi rank, and that white old man arrived, and there was an explosion. So those people decided to leave me behind because I'm a homeless beggar. I don't deserve to go to the hospital. It's fine. I've experienced all forms of pain. There is nothing as worse as being a disabled homeless guy. I am the worst case scenario a human being can ever be. Yeah, that is really true, bro. You are a disabled nigga in Africa, and you're homeless. Forget it. Though disabled people kind of have more rights now, more than ever, but that's only if they can exploit your image. They can make money out of you. If you're a crusty, ashy, dusty dude, then forget it, right? So some other thugs come along and say, how much did you make today begging? And he says nothing. And he gets punched in the gut, and he says, there is no person who can say they have experienced more pain than me. You can beat me up as much as you want. I feel nothing. You guys are pathetic. You think we chose this life of crime, us the criminal? This life was forced on us, shaped by the traumas of our childhood. Ooh, and then the homeless guy has a rebuttal. Look at you, still crumbling under the weight of your so-called childhood traumas. Traumas don't make me laugh. They're not traumas. They're petty burdens you've allowed to define you, minor scratches on the surface of your lives, but you wear them like chains. Yo, bruh, that is proper, man. That is excellent. This is excellent. Go try and tell a nigga in the township this, bro. You will get stabbed, bro. Just like this. You'll pay for saying that. Homeless guy grabs the blade. I see the pain buried deep in your heart. You believe life would have been better if your father had stayed. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I wonder if the author read the recent release book called This Country Hates Our Boys. I read that book. A nice description of what young men go through in this country, but ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous solutions that make no sense whatsoever. Kind of proves that, yeah, nigga, as you were raised by a single mother. Like, yes, your daddy left. You finally found him in a hut, and he said, "Listen, nigga, if I raised you, your life would have been worse." But I was like, damn, such a good book that describes the problems, but you giving us some single mother solutions? Oh hell no! That was such a waste of time reading that book. But anyway, you don't know what you're talking about. I know, I know that pain all too well. You carry your mother's surname like a scar because your father never gave you his, and every time you say it, it stings. Keep quiet. I'm going to kill you. And dude unleashes a power. Deadbeat father. Oh snap, bro. Man, like that's pretty funny, right? But it's so real. This is that Boondocks type thing, right? Well, it's a bit of satire, but you actually can genuinely take it serious. Genuinely speaking, man, you can take this serious, bro. This is why it's so good. Deadbeat father, bro. Oh, wow. No, you must learn to face that pain. So what if you don't know your father? Embrace it. Let it fuel you. Use it as motivation to work harder so you can be there for your own kids. And then he unleashes the power on the others. With you two, I see heartbreak and academic financial exclusion. And the dude just rolls off, bruh. And then he senses another strong level of pain. And he's like, young man, you have a lot of pain, but you survived it all. Who are you? Right? And now I sense something even heavier, the pain of an entire continent resting on your shoulders. And it's Malema. It is Malema. So, Julius Malema has been presented as some promised African prince to save all of us from the borders that divide our countries. The borders never existed, the Pan-African says. The borders were a fabrication, the white liberal says. Nigga, please. All countries divided by mountains and flipping rivers. Give me a break. Know how many Zim niggas gotta jump the Crocodile River to come this side to do their garbage? Give me a break. And I don't want to hear nobody accuse me of that xenophobia. You want to know why? Because that Zim nigga didn't pay rent at my place for 10 months. So I don't want to hear nothing, right? But anyway, finally got rid of him. It took 10 months. And it cut all my plans in half. So you see what happens? You see what happens, man? But anyway, well done. Well done to this author. You found a good artist as well. Well done, bro. This is truly, truly brilliant. I support you. We need you here for an interview. We need you here for an interview, bro. We might even have to start a little Mzansi podcast grilling these crazy niggas, bro. You know, while, you know, having some chicken dust. We might have to go all out, bro. We might have to go all out. We might have to go to Durban, order Bonnie Chow, talk to the Indians there, ask them what the heck they doing. Why haven't they gone home yet? It's been over 200 years. It's going to be good. So anyway, everybody, this has been the great story that is called African Saga. It might have the DEI presentation, but it is not DEI coded. And because it's not DEI coded, even if Julius Malema were to see this himself, Malema, I suppose, should be smart enough to see that this is not actually in my favor. You're actually presenting me as a villain, so I'm not going to support you. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry that somebody as smart as you was born here. But whether this brings you peace or not, Nah, I guess it wouldn't. Huh? The whole world is like where we are right now, bro. Every country is being run by the ANC government with the level of incompetence that we see everywhere. So it is what it is. I just hope that you can print this for yourself. I don't know if you're gonna go to Comic Con. Your social media game weak as heck, bruh. You ain't got nothing posted except graduation photos, bruh. But then again, even if you did, even if you played the social media game perfectly, it doesn't guarantee anything. In the end, it all becomes a matter of what are you doing this for? Because if you're doing this to put, bread on the table, you're gonna starve to death. Here and now, you're gonna starve to death, bro. So, this is why we need that interview. We need to figure out what you're trying to do, bro. What is the grand vision for yourself, for the story? Have you tried to go to schools and so on? Have you tried to be on TV? Because I did all of that stuff. I was in the schools, I was on TV, I was on radio, blah, blah, blah. I was in magazines, blah, 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 bro. And still nothing happened. In the end, my biggest support came internationally, right? Americans and Europeans, very, very few African people supported Koffee Comics, Koffee Entertainment. And as I said earlier, if you really want to make something out of anything here, this is the level of crazy niggery level stuff that you gotta do. You gotta go to the shebeen, bro. You gotta do the break dance, the nigga shuffle, spanzula, bro. Get the all stars, get the hoes doing a dance on the music video. And this is not what you want to do. This is not what I want to do. Even Tyler has to, pretend to be cooking pop on a damn Vogue magazine video shoot. She can't cook nothing, bro. She can't even boil an egg. She didn't make no pop. She didn't make no chakalaka, bro. She don't know what she doing. So authenticity in today's age is definitely near impossible, and it definitely will not pay. So it's going to be survival of the truest, and you won't get as much of that cash as you would like, but if you want to get a lot of return of investment in spirit, then stay true to the vision, man, and finish the story. Don't LARP. Don't do no crazy nigga ish. And guys, this chapter here, the principalities of Mzansi, real quick, right? The worst case scenario for South Africa is not a plague, not a natural disaster or war, right? It is our own habits coming to life. This is brilliant, man. This is brilliant. But anyway, if y'all would like your own review, it is $35 for 60 pages and lower. This was, bro had to pay top dollar for this. That's a South African supporting another South African, not trying to swindle a nigga. Yeah, man, give me half price. Say, come on, chief. Yebo. No. Any nigga come at me with that garbage, say half. Nigga, I'm gonna slap the dirt out of you. I'm gonna grab a taxi, find you, and slap the dirt out of you. So, no. $35, y'all.